I am Bernice Abubedulansa from our studios here in Kokomlemle. Thanks for your company. The details now. Go to court to have your issues regarding the 2020 election addressed. Civic Forum and Institute for Democratic Governance, IDEC, are urging the National Democratic Congress after the party rejected the 2020 polls as declared by the EC. Speaking at a news conference this morning to address issues that have come up after the elections, Dr. Angela Dramnabwaji, who read a statement on behalf of the CSOs, noted that it's only the courts that can iron out whatever issues the NDC has concerning the elections.
Carrying out demonstrations and going to court are not mutually exclusive nor contradictory. Legal recourse may be pursued even as peaceful demonstrations are carried out. Therefore, we join the voices of the sections of the public to urge the NDC to present their concerns to the courts for legal redress. We wish to emphasize in this regard that going to court does not amount to a lost cause. We fully appreciate that the aggrieved parties may be concerned over the length of time required in pursuing court cases, and the fact that during this time, the processes of swearing in the president and parliamentarians will take place, seemingly bringing their case to naught. We wish, therefore, to explain that the Constitution indeed provides a tight schedule of statutory dates for the swearing in of the elected president and parliamentarians. This schedule will have to be followed in order that the entire system of governance does not come to a standstill, leading to a constitutional crisis.
My colleague Kweku Asante, who attended that particular program, joins us on the phone with more. Kweku, we understand the Executive Secretary of IDEC, Dr. Emmanuel Akwete, has been responding to the NDC's request for an independent audit of pink sheets. What has he been saying?
Well, Benin, a few days ago, the opposition NDC's flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, made a request to the Electoral Commission. He's actually saying that the only condition under which he would accept the results of the 2020 election if a forensic audit is carried out on all PCs from all polling stations across the nation. And so today I put that question to IDEC Executive Director, Dr. Emmanuel Akwete. And he's been saying that the Electoral Commission, as of now, has already gazetted the results of the 2020 general election. And so the Electoral Commission has become functions official. They cannot take any decision regarding the specific results they've declared. And so the only place the NDC can get something is if they go to court. And so Dr. Emmanuel Akwete is reiterating the call to the NDC that if they want some results, if they want something declared, if they want the results as declared by the Electoral Commission changed, then they must head to court. And so for now, because the results have been gazetted, there is nothing that the Electoral Commission can do again in terms of granting a specific request for audit.
Kweku, we know the CSOs have also been commenting about protection for NDC sympathizers who may pour onto the streets in protest.
Yes, so the CSO has actually been saying that they are not against the protest that the National Democratic Congress supporters has been holding nationwide. There's been some in Superior, so there's been some in Kumasi. Today there's some going on in the northern parts of the country. And so the CSOs are saying that the NDC should be given the right room to be able to protest if they want, because that is not contradictory to the idea that they should go to court. But the CSO wants to say that the only thing that can change the result, the only thing that can change the outcome of the result is for the NDC to present its evidence to court. But for now, they are urging the police to provide security for all NDC supporters who are protesting nationwide.
We can now hear the Executive Secretary of IDEC, Dr. Emmanuel Akwete.
Given what transpired before the elections and where we've gotten to, what if the EC does not respond positively to what they've said or doesn't take action on that? What do we do? And I think that for us, if it's possible to do it quickly and peacefully within the EC, and the EC will respond and answer some of the questions, because even if the EC is independent, it also has to be, sorry, I had my mask on. If the EC would also listen and find a way of responding, that would be helpful. But we should also entertain the possibility that it might not. What do we do? And this is why we think that probably both tracks should be pursued. You only go to court when other avenues are shut or are not effective. The issues we're dealing with ought to be responded to quickly. We do not have a lot of time for it to drag on. And we believe strongly that the EC should also hold itself accountable and respond to things that it can respond to assure Ghanaians the propriety of actions it has taken and the fact that, yes, the electorate, they created all the conditions, and so maybe some of the questions being raised are not valid. I think some more conversation is needed.
That's Executive Director of IDEC speaking a while ago at a press conference. Well, earlier today, NDC sympathizers in the Upper West and Northern regions hit the streets again. The Northern Regional Chairman of the party, Ibrahim Mobila, is urging the chairperson of the Electoral Commission to do what he describes as the right thing by declaring John Mahama winner of the December 7 polls. He said they've given her a 3-day ultimatum to do so, or they'll mass up more than they've done today to continue their protest. My colleague Martina Bugri is there for us. Hello, Martina. Was there a response from the EC in the Northern region to this call by the regional chairman?
No, they didn't present a petition. They just marched up at the Jubilee Park after they went through the principal streets of Tamale for about 2 hours. Now, I must say that the protest was a big one of the biggest demonstrations we have seen in the northern region. And when they got to Zegbeli and Abuabu, which is perceived to be strongholds of the NPP, one would expect that people would not give them the support. But they had thumbs up from people along that stretch until they got to the Jubilee Park where they were addressed. Now, the party chairman is saying that they would continue the demonstration if they don't get answers from the EC chairperson. And they are giving her 3 days for the start. But if that fails, they would continue until they get positive results. And the first chairperson of the party, Sofa Zoka, also spoke. He says that Ghana is a peaceful country, and they would expect that it should be attacked. And so His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo should leave and allow the country to remain in peace. But if he doesn't do so, and God calls him, he should say it's the wrong line. A former organizer also spoke. He's saying that Ghana is not like Rwanda, it's not like Somalia. But if the rightful turn is not done, it could also turn safe. These were some of the speeches that the leadership gave at the Jubilee Park, and the massive crowd dispersed.
Martina, so this threats they're given to the EC to declare John Mahama winner, or else they will mass up. You say we've not received a response from the EC yet, but tell us how the protesters in all behaved during the protest.
I must say that it was a quiet one, not quiet in the sense that they were not making noise, but it was more orderly for the first time. We had people who thought that they should burn tires as part of the demonstration, and amongst them, some protested. And so those who burned the tires, they had some of those amongst the protesters quench these fires to ensure that they conduct themselves peacefully so that they do not have issues apart from the demonstration that was being held. And I must say that we had a heavy police presence amongst them throughout the process. Now you have probably about 20 police officers ahead, some in the middle, and each group that passed, you had police officers with them. And so the police themselves were in their numbers, and that partly helped, with the organizers' help, have a smooth and peaceful demonstration till the end.
Martina Bugri is our Northern Region correspondent. Well, there was a similar protest in Wa Central, in the Upper West region. Well, supporters of the NDC there burned tires in the middle of the road and in front of the EC's office there. We understand the fire spread to some dry grass in the area and had to take the fire service to douse the flame. Rafiq Salam has been following up on that. Rafiq, briefly tell us what the EC boss in the region said when the petition by the NDC sympathizers was delivered to him?
After going through the major streets in Wa, they finally converged at the EC office. They demanded, all the protesters demanded that they want to enter the premises of the Upper West EC, but the police wouldn't budge. The police said that no way, we're not going to give you that opportunity to enter. So finally, some of the leaders were selected to go into the forecourt of the EC to meet the regional director, Mr. Ali Osman Adamu. So it was there that the petition was opened and was read to the media before it was handed over to Mr. Ali Osman Adamu. So the petition was read by the War Central Communications Officer of the NDC in the person of Mohammed Tando. He made several allegations against the EC and also saying that they think that the coalition that was then was probably a lot of discrepancies, and they think that if the needful is done, John Dramani Mahama will be declared the outright winner of the polls. And so they are calling on the EC to recollect the presidential results and to enable Mahama to be declared the winner. And so when Mr. Ali Usman Adamu, the Upper West EC director, picked the petition, he assured them that he was going to channel the petition to the appropriate courts, and then they will hear from them.
Rafiq, we just heard from Martina that the northern region, supporters of the NDC in the northern region, gave the EC an ultimatum. Was that the same for NDC supporters in Wa?
Yeah, it's the same here, but they are saying that they are not going to relent on their effort to join the man and mama to the top of the political power in the country again, because they think that it was daylight robbery and they will do everything to make it happen. And so they are giving demands to the EC that if they fail to act on their petition, they will be back on the street and they will come back to their office.
Rafiq Salam there from Wa. Well, the Christian Council of Ghana is expressing concern over what it calls government silence in the killings that took place in some constituencies during the elections. It's also asking or urging the NDC to desist from street protests and resort to the courts for redress of their concerns. Well, joining us on Zoom is Chairman of the Christian Council of Ghana, Most Reverend Dr. Paul Boafo. Thank you for joining the program, sir. We just told the story of a 15-year-old girl who lost her life as a result of election violence. You are concerned that government hasn't spoken about the killings yet. With your work doing advocacy and interacting with government, have you reached out to government on the issues of violence, and have you gotten a response as to why the silence?
Sorry, the voice is down. I can't hear what you are saying.
All right, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Reverend? Can you hear me now, please?
Faintly.
I am asking if you've reached out to government talking about the electoral violence and why the seeming silence over the matter.
Come again. It's sorry, I have to worry you.
All right, Rev, I'm going to try again. Can you hear me now, please? Can you hear me now?
Right.
Okay, I'm asking, you have released a statement and you've expressed concern about the silence of government in the killings during the election. And I'm asking, in your work, in your advocacy work, have you reached out to government on why the silence, and have you gotten a response?
Well, thank you very much. We met yesterday and we asked the experts to come and brief us as to what is happening. And that's why we have that 3 or 4 point release that we came out with. But we haven't met them yet. We're just coming out so that our approach to government and to the political parties, we are now doing that at the background so that we can arrive at a peaceful solution to the challenges we are being confronted with.
Also seeing that you're urging the NDC to go to court. We just heard threats of more street protests. How do we deal with this issue as we look forward to also addressing the concerns raised by the party?
We are saying that if we need to talk about peace, it should be done in a peaceful manner. It should be done in a peaceful way and not in rioting and causing confusion all over the place, because that one will not appeal to anyone, any meaningful Ghanaian who wants to come out and help with the resolution. Because if I am threatened, if I have to come and help, and at the end of the day, all kinds of insults are hurled at me, I will sit back. And that's why we are of the opinion that if the NDC can take a peaceful way, then we will all come on board and help to resolve the issue, so that their threats and the confusion and the mayhem that is caused on our streets, blocking roads and all that, it will not help us to get to the final resolution of the matter.
All right, beyond the statement, what is the Christian Council of Ghana doing? There are some who believe what we are seeing on our streets didn't just happen. We have raised a generation that some argue is quite intolerant. Even on social media, you just spoke about hurling insults and people just say really hurtful stuff to other people. We are a nation that boasts of having about 70% of its population being Christian. My colleagues have received threats. Beyond the statement, what is the Christian Council of Ghana doing to ensure that generally, beyond elections, we even build or nurture a culture of peace?
We would continue to do what we are noted, apart from the prayers and the other things. That one is there. We'll appeal to our members to also be tolerant. But above all these, we are talking to the leadership, because all these supporters will listen. At least majority of them will listen to their leadership when they tell them to calm down. When they tell them that, look, we are fighting a cause, and that cause it's to do with tolerance, it's to do with patience, it's to do with us building our argument and sending to the appropriate quarters. Being on the streets will not help us. If they can come out with these statements, it can help us to resolve this challenge on our hands. So we are talking to the leadership that can they come up, can they talk to their people, can they calm the nerves of all these supporters who are on the streets? Because being on the streets is no solution. It will not be a solution to the problem.
Rev, before you go, your first point in that statement, you're calling on the EC to, as a matter of urgency, come out with a clear statement on the state of constituencies that have challenges with the election results. Is it that the statements or the notices released by the EC are not clear enough for you? What exactly do you mean when you say clear statement?
Right. What we meant was the constituencies in which there are challenges, those that are being sent to court or otherwise, whatever is happening in these constituencies. We felt that if EC could come out and resolve the issue, because it is the counting of votes and then collating and telling us that these are the votes for Party A, Party B. And when they have understood themselves, then we say that the tension in that constituency is off our head. That's what we meant. It's not to do with all the other constituencies, but where they are challenging it, they should come out because they are the referees. They are the best people to listen to.
I'm just asking in specifics what you mean when you say clear statement, because the EC released a statement giving us updates on the seats the NPP had won, the seats the NDC had won, and the outstanding one. So beyond that, what do you mean when you say clear statement in specifics?
The clear here is where what exactly is happening in those constituencies that are being challenged.
All right.
They should also tell us that these are the procedures that we are using to arrive at the conclusion. So that we like the way EC comes out to let the people know. So what is exactly happening in these constituencies that have challenges?
I appreciate your time this afternoon. Most Reverend Dr. Paul Boafo is chairman of the Christian Council of Ghana, and we've been talking about a statement they released, basically urging peace in the country. Now, the Ghana National Fire Service says its preliminary investigations point to arson in the fire that gutted the Electoral Commission's office at FOMENA on Election Day. The police have taken up the matter as fire officials prepare to conclude their investigations. A week after the elections, Nana Yaw-Jima went back to the FOMENA constituency to follow up on violence recorded on the day. You may find portions of the following report disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
According to an eyewitness on normal duties in the EC office, a liquid smelling like petrol came through the window and fire followed a minute after. It came at a time officials of the commission were preparing to declare independent parliamentary candidate Andrew Esiama Mwakon as MP-elect for the FOMENA constituency. This had infuriated supporters of the NPP who suspected the election was rigged. A gallon smelling of petrol was found around the building. A hole was also made in the window of the building, suspected to have been used as passage for the fire. DO3 Oscar Opoku leads the fire service in FOMENA.
Take a gallon of petrol here. If you just smell inside, and you can just smell a petrol inside. So that one too is an exhibit. Most of the EC office, their documents have gone bent. But notwithstanding the ballot boxes and the papers are all intact.
At the dawn of the incident, some supporters of the NPP had gathered at the Collation Center at FOMENA, sited a few meters from the EC office. They were protesting what they called rigged election in favor of the independent candidate. The agitated crowd was stopped by the armed police and military personnel from invading the center to disrupt the process. It is suspected the mob started the inferno, but police are yet to make an arrest. The constituency had recorded a number of violent incidents prior to the election, justifying reasons for being tagged a flashpoint. Seth Odo, who worked for the independent candidate in the FOMENA parliamentary race, is a victim of the violent assault. Seth still wears reddened eyes, which hardly sees after the incident. His face is bruised and marks of assault are still visible all over his body. Seth was beaten on election eve as he visited polling agents.
And then they chased me. And so when they caught me, they started beating me with machetes and with sticks, and they were beating me here and there. So I tried to dodge some of the bros, and others who hit me because they were many. So, and they wanted to kidnap me. They said I should board on the aboboya that they brought so that they would take me away. So I also decided to run away for the second time. And then one of them slapped me and then I fell. And that was the end.
Another victim, Eja Anoche, from the same camp, was assaulted on the streets of FOMENA after casting his ballot at the Salvation Army polling station. He was accused of taking a snapshot of his ballot. Police was able to arrest 2 persons with machete on them. In both cases, victims point to heavily built men associated with an NPP executive in the area, but party denied the allegation. NPP parliamentary candidate Philip Oforiasante spoke to JoyNews.
Be a fool to do that. I mean, I'll be a fool to do that. Why would I do that? Don't pass it from my stronghold. Why would I do that? Or Chisore, it's my stronghold. Or Bobrias, it's my stronghold. Why would I do that? Or Abedrum, or Nyabrim, or Akrezongo. These are my strongholds. Let nobody deceive nobody. Trust me. Let no man deceive nobody. That anybody has a stronghold. The stronghold belongs to NPP. Why would I do that? I'll be a fool to do that. And I'll never ever. If I hear it or see it, I'll call the person to order.
Before the interview on the day of election, the JoyNews team cited one of the two persons arrested by the police in the guest house of the NPP candidate taking food from the residents. Police say he had been granted bail for further investigation. Superintendent Fee Ochel is district police commander.
So they informed me and I said they should bring them to office. They brought them to the office. I took custody of it. And then we cautioned them for holding those things and released them on bail. So that the case will be continued. We go into it to see what actually they were doing in respect of it.
JoyNews investigation confirmed the Salvation Army polling station before the end of polls was taken over by some heavily built men. Sources say it took the intervention of police to stop the men who had issued ballot papers to themselves to cast their ballots. Superintendent Ochel says all the issues are under investigations. He says the assault victims are yet to follow up with their medical reports at the police station. The FOMENA constituency has remained calm after the election, especially as the choice the MP-elect makes in parliament can win majority in parliament for either side. From the FOMENA constituency for JoyNews, Nana Ojima reporting.
And in our studios here in Kokomlemle, I'm Bernice Abubedulansa, and this is JoyNews Today. Still to come, the Ghana Statistical Service projects about 31 million Ghanaians to be counted in the 2021 population census. We've got details shortly. Thanks for staying on News Today. In business, as part of measures to help prevent and reduce worksite accidents and injuries, Goldfields Ghana Limited has procured an advanced collision avoidance system. The new system, according to management, is robust and could result in greater cost savings as compared to previous systems implemented. The mining giant in the Western region has for the past years made huge investments to improve its work. Inathalia Kwanza has more in this report.
The company, with their commitment towards protecting lives and saving their machinery from accidental damages, introduced an operator fatigue system in 2012, an innovation that reduced the equipment damage cost from $6 million to $2 million. The successes were significant, yet there remained some key challenges. Management identified that the existing system were unable to avert equipment to equipment and equipment to person collision. BCM project manager George Asenso stressed that the system is a life-saving one that guarantees optimum protection for employees.
The life of a human being can never be replaced. When you are asleep as a project manager and you hear of an incident, the first question is, was there an injury? If this system have come to ensure that every employee working on the field will be notified when it's getting closer to a machine, and machine to machines will be notified, then it's a good thing. I am going to ensure that together with my team, we get this system maintained and get a value out of it. I am sure that down the line, issue of equipment collision, either equipment to equipment or human being to equipment, is going to be an issue of the past, and we are grateful. I want to take this opportunity to thank Goldfields for extending their goodwill to us by giving us this system.
Business Improvement Management Kwame Ako, on his part, explained that the unique signatures of both machinery and personnel generated via collision avoidance device have been integrated into a system to monitor movements at the site.
In 2012-2013, we installed a fatigue management system, and then the intent was to reduce operator fatigue, and then when they were fatigued, the system will alert us as to when an operator is fatigued. And it worked pretty well for us. We were able to reduce our equipment damage cost from around 6 million to 2 million. But I realized there was still a gap in the system, in that the fatigue management system was not able to reduce equipment to equipment interaction and then equipment to personnel interaction. And then this gap resulted in a fatality where a truck ran over a spotter in 2015. So with that incident, then we realized we needed a more robust system to reduce equipment damage costs and also protect our personnel. So what this does is it adds another layer of safety to our existing safety management system, and then it gives us protection to our personnel on site. Over a period of 5 years, we'll be spending the order of $8.3 million, but this year alone, we're spending $1.6 million on this collision avoidance system. Outside of 25 meters away, it flashes the amber, and when you get to 18, when you're 25 meters away, it's green. When you get to 18 meters, it's flashes the amber. And then when you are 10 meters to it, then it's red. That's when it vibrates to let you know that you are in the danger zone of the truck.
For Joy News in Athalia Kwanza, Western Region.
Away from the mining sector, the Ghana Statistical Service is projecting to count more than 31 million people in the next housing census, which is due in April next year. The program, which is postponed due to COVID-19, is expected to run through a 15-day period. There's more in the following report.
The census will be used by government to formulate policies and programs for the next 10 years, after which another one will be conducted per the United Nations guidelines. Engaging master trainers of the housing census in Winnipeg, government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna Enim assured that all necessary provisions, including financial resources, have been provided for the program and ready to take off. He was, however, quick to add that the outbreak of the coronavirus has created additional financing gap. His outfit has started engagements with government in order to receive funding.
We've had more geospatial resources that is helping us validate the demarcation exercise that we did. Moving into the area of financial preparedness, prior to the COVID-19, as we indicated, the government had provided resources through a World Bank facility for the conduct of the 2021 population housing census. Indeed, with the onset of the COVID, it's introduced other elements of cost, i.e. the PPEs that are sent 5,000 field officers will be needing to ensure respondents that we are adhering fully to the COVID-19 protocols. That has led to a funding gap of $12.6 million US. We've already initiated discussions with the Ministry of Finance, and we are pretty optimistic that this funding gap will be covered.
Head of Census Methodology, Owusu Keja, expressed the team's readiness to undertake the exercise.
We want our trainees to make sure that they grasp and to make sure that we all have the same level of understanding. And so sometimes people come in with their own understanding, and so deschooling them sometimes becomes a challenge. And that's what consistently we have tried to do. And then also getting the tablets was an issue because of the COVID that reared its head, but we have overcome that challenge. Okay.
More than 1,000 personnel are expected to undertake the exercise from April next year.
That's all for business news. Oreku Ampofo is standing by with the latest from the world of sports.
Let's settle for some showbiz news here on Joy News. Now, musician Sina Soul, in a recent interview, has shared the impact of the year 2020 on her music career. Speaking on Joy FM, the musician stated that although the year has been musically slow for her, she's managed to work on some projects.
For me, musically, it's been really, really slow for me. I'm a performer. I always say I'm a performer. I love to perform. I love to be on stage. So the time where we couldn't have concerts, even still, we can't really have a lot of concerts. It's draining for me. I feel like my world is crashing. I'm like, I need to be on stage singing, and it's just really draining for me.
How are you keeping body and soul together?
How am I keeping? I think it's creating more music.
Oh, were you?
Yes. You will make her cry, I'll cry for you. You know, say I'm bad, but I'm bad only for you. And you know that is true, and I don't have nothing to prove.
There you go.
You know that say you go be my all mine, You know believe, say you go be
my multiple award-winning musician Kofi Kinata has released a new banger, Something Nice, featuring Nigeria's Pato Rankin. Here is all you need to know about the song.
It's Kofi Kinata featuring Pato Rankin, and the name of the song is Something Nice. So he's talking about everything nice, anything nice. It's actually a party song. It's for entertainment, just have fun. 2020 has been, I wouldn't say, but I would say we've been through a lot in 2020. So getting to the end of 2020, we needed something to, have fun with it, just to forget about whatever happened in 2020. So Something Nice is a party song, dance song, just have fun with it.
To end with today, veteran Ghanaian actor Prince Yosin, popularly known as Wache, has graduated from Bible School. The actor graduated with a bachelor's degree in theology from the Life Theology University in Accra. He told the media he is not surprised by this phase in his life because many men of God have told him about it. Prince Yosin had taken a break from acting after he fell sick. In a recent interview, he told JoyNews that God has healed him. Quote, "Once upon a time I was sick, but I am well." The Bible tells us not to say I am sick, but say I am well. That is why God will touch you. But if I say I am sick, then you will go sick. But I have been well. God has touched me. God is busy on me, he added. On that note, we end showbiz here on Joy News today. Over to you, Benny.
All right, thank you, Becky. So you were trying to sing along with Sinner Soul there. Well, maybe you should have some music lessons.
It didn't go well for me.
Thank you so much for bringing us showbiz. But that's how we end this edition of Joy News today. I'm Bernice Abubedu-Lansa. Do log on to myjoyonline.com for more news. From my team and myself, we wish you the very best of the rest of the day. Don't go away yet. Charles Ayete is standing by with the marketplace.